The Hub today. So for many, this weekend is a time to celebrate, and for others, it's a reminder of loss, grief, and pain. And that's where Empower comes in. The nonprofit is hosting an event this Sunday at Gillette Stadium for any kid, teen, or young adult who has lost a mom. And founder Cara Belvin is here to share more. Cara, thanks for being here first.
Thank you for having me.
And the work that you do is so incredible, not just this weekend, but year-round. So tell us what Empower is and why you started it.
Sure. About 10 years ago, I started Empower, just really simply to build community for kids like me. You know, I was 9 years old when my mom died of breast cancer, and I was desperate for something like this where, you know, I could come together and, you know, look around the room and realize I wasn't alone in my grief. I would meet other kids who were going through it too.
And Sunday, there will be so many kids. You said 100 or so kids, boys, girls, non-binary youth will all come and have this day to be surrounded by love. And talk about why events like this are so important this weekend especially, but year-round.
It's just important, you know, to know that you're not the only one sort of powering through this. And that is a life-changing moment. You know, I didn't know anyone else, you know, my age going through the, you know, such a traumatic loss. And so to come together on Mother's Day particularly, I mean, it's, you know, undeniably a hard day. It's almost like the 2 weeks leading up to the day are almost harder than the day. But, you know, it's my way of introducing, you know, kids to other kids who maybe, you know, similar likes and dislikes or not. All have this extraordinary experience in common, and that's really builds your self-esteem back up. You know, after my mother died, I'd say I felt small, and you know, they leave our events, you know, with their shoulders back, feeling like 2 feet taller.
And it's a time where you can feel seen and loved in this time that is so challenging, and there's so much joy there. These kids are dancing, they're laughing, they're doing crafts, they have getting their hair done and their nails done. What are some of? And these are all because of community partners, right?
Yes, all in-kind partnerships. So the Boston area has been so very generous to us. And so we'll come together at Gillette, which of course is this awesome backdrop. But the day is fun. It's non-therapeutic. You know, there are not clinicians there to run the day, but there are, you know, incredibly compassionate, smart, all trained volunteers who really move throughout all of these fun events. So it is hair and makeup, even if you don't like hair and makeup. It's you know, and it's educational, and it's sports and games, and it's yoga and meditation, and you know, they're all going into the Hall of Fame, of course, to, you know, try on the Super Bowl rings.
It doesn't hurt, right?
No, it doesn't hurt. And you know, just like little unforgettable experiences. But again, it's like this backdrop and just this bond that all of these children and young adults have. And you know, the other really sort of maybe not so obvious is all of the adults in that room at Gillette, they're all men and women like me. You know, they were, you know, had experienced a loss of their mom growing up, and of course on Father's Day, same program. But growing up, I never knew an adult woman who survived it. It's like I couldn't have been convinced I would survive it. It was like a one-ton brick on my chest.
And that's why this has been so important for you. So outside of these events, you also have a mentor program. And so that these kids, these teens, these young adults have someone like yourself to look up to, and someone that's outside the family.
That's really important. And I think that's another surprise too. I was so grateful, I mean, out of the gratitude I had for all the support my brother and my dad and I received after my mom died. You know, that support saved me. But I really was looking for maybe an older woman who could pull me aside and say, like, I know a little bit about what you're going through.
Well, you have done an incredible job. So thank you for all of your hard work. You guys, tickets are, you can still register for the event this weekend.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. You can also learn more about their mentorship program online. Cara, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.